broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched, course of gallantly streaming, and the rockets ripping, the bombs bursting in air. Yet through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the brave?
Good morning, fellow Democrats. My name is Mayor of Lowell. I am honored to welcome you to the Mass Democratic State Convention here at the Tsonga Center. On behalf of the City Council, the Manager's Office, and the residents of Lowell, we are honored to host this convention and welcome you to our great city. Lowell has always been and remain at the forefront of democratic ideals. Our city's rich history proves time and time again that this city embodies and reflects the importance of democracy in America. The technological innovations of the Industrial Revolution catapulted Lowell onto the world stage in the 1800s. The mill girls represented strong, independent females who stood together and fought for workers' rights. Lowell's residents also attended lectures by anti-slavery abolitionists such as Frederick Douglass and others who gathered here in our city to speak out against the atrocities of slavery and to create a more socially just world. Today, Lowell continues its commitment to democratic ideals as one of the gateway cities for immigrants from all around the world. As I walked out to speak today, I was in awe of our democratic gathering. I heard the swells of your applause and I heard the echoes of the Cambodian song being played overhead. The words may not be familiar to many, but those words drive my hopes, those words lift my dreams, and they lift my drive to succeed. Those words are strong and clear, for they sing the words of challenge and strength, because they sing out the words, it's time to rise. As the first Cambodian American man in the United States, I stand on the shoulders of those battered immigrants who came long before me to America and who risked and dared greatly to better their families. I was born in a war-torn country, but here I found my place and my home. Here and now, I knew it was time for me to rise. As Democrats, with an iron-forged history of helping and protecting those who labor in the sweatshops and unsafe factories, our unions organized and marched until the most vulnerable were protected and paid a decent wage. They knew it was time to rise. As world citizens, we join against the damage to our environment and climate changes wreaking havoc around the globe. Though others deny what is obvious to our planet and country, we know it is time to rise. As leaders and elected officials in gateway cities, we deal with the most challenged and the most in need. And as Democrats, we do not walk away. When we stand with the common men and women for their right to a basic wage, their right to housing, their right to safety, and their right to proper we know that it is time to rise. Day-to-day leadership in public life is very hard work. The problems of people in need, aging infrastructure, social needs for mental health, poverty, addictions, quality education, aging generations of workers, and our elderly's quality of life are straining our resources. Yet, it is the compassion and mission of the Democratic Party that studies as to persevere for those we serve. Our Democratic leaders know how to be strong and manage. It is their time to rise. So together, we move forward today as a unified voice, with one democratic mission and a single line of march to strengthen our commitment to our residents, to lead more boldly, to protect and assist those in need, and carry the banner of the Democratic Party to victory in November. Say with me, then everyone we know, it is time to rise. Thank you for being here. And now I would like to call State Senator Edward J. Kennedy to the podium.
Good morning, Democrats. Welcome to Lowell. You're welcome. I am State Senator Ed Kennedy from the 1st Middlesex District. I am proud to welcome you here to my hometown for this 2023 Democratic State Convention. I am proud to be from Lowell, and I am proud to be a Democrat. Lowell is, and always has been, a Democratic city. It is the city of the United States Senator Paul Tsonga, whose name adorns this building we stand in today. It is the city of great Democratic congressional representatives like Marty Meehan, Nikki Tsonga, and Lori Trahan, who we'll be hearing from shortly. It is also the former Democratic House Majority Leader and District Court Justice Cornelius F. Kiernan. Just last week, we dedicated our new Judicial Center in his memory. All of them are proud Lowellians. All of them are proud Democrats. Lowell is a Democratic city, not just for our elected representatives, but because of our values. Lowell is a proud gateway city, a welcoming city where so many American families have gotten their start in this country, and that continues to this day. Lowell National Historical Park is celebrating this fact at the opening of a new exhibit, One City, Many Cultures, this afternoon at the Morgan Cultural Center, right down the street from here. Lowell is a city of workers. The American labor movement has its roots in mill cities like Lowell and Lawrence. Lowell is a city where we value access to education, health care, and basic necessities like food and shelter. We have many dedicated organizations and individuals who make it their mission to ensure that people in our city have these basic rights and dignities, regardless of background or circumstance. At its heart, Lowell is a city that values and respects people. That is what makes it a democratic city. And that is why I'm so happy to have you all here this morning in Lowell, because we all share the values of a democratic city, a democratic commonwealth, and a democratic nation. Thank you very much.
It's an honor to welcome you to Lowell, my hometown, for this very important meeting. And it's fitting that we're gathered here, just up the road from where the first shot was fired in Concord, in a city like so many along the Merrimack River, like Lawrence and Haverhill, that fueled our industrial revolution chart our path forward as a party and as a Commonwealth. Now, when I was preparing to speak here this morning, I had every intention of focusing on the tremendous opportunity we have to transform our Commonwealth into an even better place for our children and grandchildren to live. I plan to highlight the unprecedented investments that Democrats have made at the federal level that are fueling the work being done by Governor Healy and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll and the leaders of our state legislature. After all, between the President's bipartisan infrastructure law, the CHIPS and Science Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act, Massachusetts is receiving over $10 billion to fund critical projects that will improve life across our state for years to come. Roads and bridge projects like the Warp Bridge right here in Lowell are finally going to get done. Extreme MAGA Republicans are hell-bent on shutting down the federal government no matter how badly it hurts working families. A number of Republicans have called for a shutdown no matter what. Others have said they'll only vote to fund the government if President Biden is impeached or if they can eliminate abortion access for the women bravely serving in our military. That's right, these are not serious people. They have no interest in governing or helping families succeed. They're focused on their war on woke, their war on women, and their war on workers. And we can't and we won't let them win. That's why this convention is so important. It is an opportunity to show folks here in Massachusetts and across our country that another path is possible. We can show that the Democratic platform is focused on creating a Commonwealth where every person, no matter their background, has the opportunity and the support to succeed. And that's what today's meeting is about, paving the way to victory. And it's why I'm so grateful that each of you are here this morning and for everything you do day in and day out to get us ready to win this fight. Have a great convention, and thank you so much.
Today, around the convention, we'll affirm our values, stake out important positions, and set the foundation for the work ahead. And it really matters what we do here in the Massachusetts Democratic Party. As you heard from the Congresswoman, we're bracing for a potential federal government shutdown because Republicans are playing chicken with people's lives. Republican governors and legislators around the country continue to attack public education, bodily autonomy, and basic science. But even with all these national reasons to agonize, here in Massachusetts, we organize. That was borrowed from Senator Markey. Because here in Massachusetts, as Mass Dems, we get the job done. Our federal delegation has led the way to cancel student loan debt, protect abortion care and health care, and even recently establish a climate corps so that we will have the workforce ready for the future. Our new governor and her administration have created a climate bank focused on housing, the first in the country. They're taking unprecedented action to support cities across the Commonwealth. And I want to be clear on this point, as an MBTA commuter, Governor Healy, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, and their entire administration have done more for the MBTA in 8 months than 24 years of Republican governors over the last 3 decades. Not only are they doing more, they're fixing the messes they inherited. And in Boston, we are relentless in leading a climate transition to the future. From electric ecosystem of supports, but we are determined to guarantee housing as a human right for everyone. We're getting at the roots of these crises. In Boston, last year, we permitted more affordable housing in that year than any year over the last 25 years. In Boston, we're tackling the public health crisis of gun violence in our communities with a focus on ensuring that we're putting resources where it matters and with the grassroots efforts that are leading the way. In Boston, we're investing in our schools, rebuilding, and imagining what's possible without state receivership. In addition to our existing national champs in women's hockey and football with the Boston Pride and the Boston Renegades, just this week, we announced that Boston will have the newest National Women's Soccer League team starting in 2026. But Democrats know that sometimes conversations about public sports stadiums can result in some pretty questionable deals that get made. And so in Boston, not only do we celebrate this new team and its all-women-led ownership group, this will also be the first pro sports team in the country to be playing out of a public school district-owned stadium co-housed with our student athletes. Massachusetts Democrats, we are the party of possibility and action. Keep your sleeves rolled up because we have a whole lot more work to do. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all you do every single day.
So many of you I've gotten to see and thank personally for your support in 2022, but this is the first convention since that election. So let me say loud and proud, thank you. When I asked for your vote last year, I shared my story. I was raised by a teen mom, but blessed because of our state's investments in families like mine. You knew where I was coming from, and you knew that if you sent me to Beacon Hill, I was going to make good on my list of priorities. And that's meant reporting on services for our children and seniors, for our underserved, implementing my social justice and equity audit plan, examining education funding, fighting alongside of our partners in labor, and conducting an audit of the MBTA. But friends, as I stand before you today, I want to shed some sunlight, which we know is the best disinfectant, on one of the biggest roadblocks I've faced in working to ensure that our democratic values are represented up on Beacon Hill. See, I audit over 200 state entities and departments, and the only one that has refused to comply is unfortunately our own state legislature. Now, I know this topic makes many Beacon Hill insiders uncomfortable, and that's why I'm coming directly to you, Massachusetts Democrats. We are supposed to be the party of accessibility. It's a fight Democrats here and beyond are waging across the country as bad actors try to shut down access to the fundamental right of our democracy, access to voting. It's us, the Democrats, who hold the line on ensuring ballot access, absentee voting, vote by mail. You and I know that when voters have access, democracy wins. But then what, friends? Once the election ends, the access ends, should we care so deeply about access to voting for our elected officials, but then resign our right to access information about how they voted, how our money is being spent, how process and procedures can allow for 120 legislators to co-sponsor a bill that's never brought up for a vote, empowering 2 or 3 people positions of power to block its passage. Some people think that holding on to power makes them strong, but it's in our neighborhoods to which that power should belong. We have a chance to change some of the crazy ways people have been oppressed. So we can't miss this moment, we won't miss this chance, gonna give it our best. This is the time for the people to be heard. This is the time for our faith to be restored. This is the time for us to rise up in unity, to say we won't back down. We're gonna stand our ground till we see the victory. We, meaning all of us, the people, the volunteers, the door knockers, the letter writers, the phone makers, the sign holders, we the people deserve access. That's why today I'm asking for your support of our initiative petition to audit the legislature by helping us to collect 75,000 signatures to get this issue on the ballot. Please sign our petition here today, friends. Take some sheets home with you. Gather signatures in your community and let's show the entire Commonwealth that the Massachusetts Democratic Party lives our values of transparency, equity, and access for all. Thank you, Massachusetts Democrats.
But she does sing very well. I am delighted to be back with you. I'm sure you're delighted to have me back again. But I'm also proud to be here with you this morning. Since we last met, I have now become not just the senior longest-serving Secretary of State in Massachusetts history, but more importantly for our country, I believe, I am now the senior Secretary of State election officer in the United States. And in that capacity, I've been recognized by the National Association of Secretaries of State, which is our national organization, which is bipartisan. And I've been using that role to promote the rights of voters across the country and to reject the effort made by the other party to deprive them of their rights and to stifle the rights of voters. We can be very proud here in Massachusetts that we've protected the rights of voters and we've advanced them. Next year, as we go into the presidential election cycle, we will have an absolute right to vote by mail throughout the whole state. Next January, mere 4 months from now, every voter in Massachusetts will be receiving an application to vote by mail, which will be postage prepaid, because the Votes Act, the opportunity to vote by mail. Because we value the right of people to be heard. Even if we don't agree with them, we value it. And I'm committed and pledged to protect them. That's the good news. I think the challenging news for us as Democrats is this. We all know what's at stake next year. If we needed reminding, we're seeing right now in Washington plays it out even further. We know what's at risk. What we're concerned about, and people like me are concerned about, is this, and I think you share these concerns. 4 years ago, we approached the national election with a dramatic sense of urgency. People who weren't as involved as you or interested in you in government were urgently desirous of changing from the chaos, the daily recitation of insanity from the White House, to something more rational. There was an absolute concern throughout the country People who didn't vote in the past rushed to think about voting and understood the process. People understood how important it was. Unfortunately, because of the success and the peacefulness and the professionalism of this administration and our president and vice president, that sense of urgency has been diminished. And that is a concern of mine and should be of yours. When we have bigger turnouts, when active people vote, that's the best thing for democracy and it's the best thing for the Democratic Party. I'll remind you that in 2012, when Barack Obama was seeking re-election, the sense of urgency again had been somewhat diminished, and it became a closer race with Mitt Romney than it should have been. We have a very serious effort to make next year. We can leave nothing to chance. We need to get everyone to vote. The disaffected, maybe the disappointed, but we need to remind them what's at stake for all of us. All of the things that you spend your life, and I've spent my life working for, the rights of people across the board, social justice, economic justice, civil rights, labor justice. That's what's at stake. There's nothing less. We can't let anyone forget that. We have to keep it before them, and we have to get people to vote. Because if people vote, if people participate, if they participate, not just here in Massachusetts, but throughout the country, we will be successful. But if people turn their back, if people say they're disappointed, they don't want to participate, there's a risk. There's a great risk. We found that out the hard way in 2016. We do not want that mistake to occur again. We want to make sure that no matter who the other side nominates, no matter who they put up, no matter what they say, no matter what types of weaknesses they try to exploit, that we don't let it happen. That starts here, it starts now. The upcoming election is upon us. It's obvious by what's already happened. Our presidential primary here in Massachusetts and throughout the country, Super Tuesday, is less than 6 months away. The campaign a year from now will be intense. It'll be full of misinformation, exploitation, and efforts to deceive and confuse people. We must be standing out there talking the truth, speaking the truth, and leading people to the polls where they can protect democracy and their best interests. I'm proud to have the vote protecting your right to vote. I intend to spend my energy doing that, not just here, but throughout the country. I'm proud of your confidence in me year after year, and you can be assured you will be rewarded and fulfilled. I'm committed to that. That is my life's work, and I assure you we're going to be successful if we all work together. Once again, thank you for all your help, all leaders. Be assured of my commitment to get you to Thank you. A year from now will be intense. It'll be full of misinformation, exploitation, and efforts to deceive and confuse people. We must be standing out there talking the truth, speaking the truth, and leading people to the polls where they can protect democracy and their best interests. I'm proud to have the vote protecting your right to vote. I intend to spend my energy doing that, not just here, but throughout the country. I'm proud of your confidence in me year after year, and you can be assured you will be rewarded and fulfilled. I'm committed to that. That is my life's work, and I assure you we're going to be successful if we all work together. Once again, thank you for all your help, all leaders. Be assured of my commitment to get you to Thank you.
President of the Massachusetts AFL-CIO, representing 500,000 working workers and their families. As a former state senator and a lifelong Democrat, sisters and brothers, it is a privilege to be able to speak to you this morning. Sisters and brothers, this is a critical time for working people and our Democratic Party. We must continue to be unified in our efforts, electing workers who live our struggles, funding our schools and infrastructure, and standing up against big tech. The labor movement and the Democratic Party must stand together because we are on the right side of history, just like our brothers and sisters at the UAW. I want to thank our chairman, Steve Kerrigan, and the staff of the Democratic Party for elected Democrats statewide, office everywhere. Our Governor Maura Healey is a key partner in fighting for economic, social, and racial justice, whether it's combating wage theft or standing up against big tech's greed. We know Governor Healey is in our corner. She is committed to fixing the T. And we know that Governor Healey will assure the appropriate management of our state funds. For too long, workers right here in Massachusetts have had their wages stolen by irresponsible, corrupt employees. When we started to fight for this legislation, brothers and sisters, to combat wage theft, we thought it was in the millions. And I tell you today, sisters and brothers, $1 billion is stolen from workers each year, and that is unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. We have a Democratic majority in the Senate, a Democrat majority in the House, and now a Democrat in the corner office. And sisters and brothers, we need to pass effective wage theft legislation soon as possible. Big tech must be held accountable for violating the law relative to workers' rights. Our Attorney General is suing big tech, and they're doing everything they can to stall it in the courts from making a real decision. Greedy big tech corporations like Uber and Lyft are mistreating their employees by misclassifying them and cheating them out of benefits that every employee in Massachusetts is entitled to. While I'm up here, sisters and brothers, I want to caution you about artificial intelligence, the newest weapon of the greedy corporations use to any way possible against working people. Fellow delegates, we must demand ethics and standards in the use of artificial intelligence. In too many industries, gig work has replaced stable careers, and that pattern is growing. In too many cases, folks are working multiple jobs. Fellow delegates, one job should be enough. Artificial intelligence should help us do our jobs.
Yes.
And artificial intelligence should improve our work, not replace it. Fellow Democrats, our party is as strong as it is because of hard work each and every one of you do every day in your commitment to your communities and to our great Democratic Party. The bond between the Democratic Party and labor unions is crystal clear. Think of this. A new report shows that 90% of people under 30 view unions favorably. 90%. That's 9 out of 10 young people believe in unions. 2/3 of Americans support the labor movement. More Americans support the concept of the trade union movement than actually like vanilla or chocolate ice cream. That's a true story. The labor movement and the Democratic Party, sisters and brothers, must continue standing together and fighting together every single day. And I am proud to have led these efforts over the last 12 years. As some of you know, this will be my last time addressing the convention. I have decided not to seek re-election as the president of the AFL-CIO in October. From my 23 years on the railroad, my 17 years in the legislature, and most recently my 12 years at the AFL-CIO, but most importantly my 52 years as an active Democrat like all of you. I consider myself lucky to have fought alongside so many of you, whether it was ballot initiatives, campaigns, or any other way that we have fought for our values. Well, my time as a leader of the labor movement is coming to an end. I could not be more excited for the new generation of Democrats and labor leaders that will be moving us forward. And I am confident that after I leave, the strong foundation of young, tough leaders will grow our movement and ensure that the movement and the Democratic Party continue to grow the middle class together. I say, God bless you all. Let's continue to fight and stand up for the Democratic Party, and let's make sure our families get out and vote. God bless you. Thank you all very, very much.
I can't hear you. Hello. Yes. Thank you to our great chair, Steve Kerrigan, and the wonderful team at Mass Dems for putting together such a fantastic convention today. I am so proud to be with each and every one of you here. You are the engine that drives the party forward, and there has never, ever been a more important time for your activism. At a time when our states, the red states across the country, are rolling back a woman's right to choose. They're banning books. Yes, boo. They're demonizing trans Americans and immigrants. We in Massachusetts are showing the nation what it means to be proud, to be inclusive, to be progressive, and to be led by democratic women. Thanks to the organizing and advocacy of everyone in this room, we have accomplished so much together these last few years. Just think about it. We codified Roe v. Wade into Massachusetts law. Yes. And after the Dobbs decision, we were the very first state in the nation to pass additional protections for both women and providers. We passed not one, but two criminal justice reform bills to ensure that Massachusetts is a national leader in fighting systemic racism. We passed not one, but two climate bills that will make sure Democrats. But none of this would have happened without you. My colleagues and I in the Senate would not be here if not for the hard work of the people in this room, and we recognize this. And with that, I do want to remind you, Steve Kerrigan mentioned it, but please get out and support John Zlotnick for the state Senate. He has a race coming up. Yes, help him out. Help get him to the Massachusetts Senate. You are the reason the Commonwealth stands as a counterpoint to the racism, the homophobia, and the anti-immigrant rhetoric sweeping across our nation. My friends and my fellow Democrats, Republicans are threatening our climate, our freedoms, and our very democracy. We need to stay united, and united as Democrats, to stand up, to speak out whenever we see the dark forces of Trumpism trying to gain a foothold. Yes, we have to speak out whenever we see Trumpism trying to gain a foothold in Massachusetts and to influence our elections. We cannot let that happen. The road ahead, we know, will be challenging. It always is. We've been here before. But I know that if we stick together, if we hold true to our democratic values, if we believe in what's possible and do the hard work to get there, then I truly believe that the best days of both our Commonwealth and our nation are ahead. So thank you all very much for being here, and go Democrats!
Hello, Massachusetts Democrats! First, a round of applause for our new party leader, Steve Kerrigan, and to my great friend, Steve Coleman, who has dedicated his life to the labor movement of Massachusetts. His leadership at the AFL-CIO has brought more protections, more benefits, more dignity to our workers and to their families. And to Lowell and all of District 3, it's so fortunate to have Laurie Trahan fighting for them in Congress. We thank you, Laurie. And the greatest congressional delegation in the United States of America, coming from Massachusetts, thank you. And to our trailblazing Commander-in-Chief, Governor Maura Healey, and Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, who are ensuring that Massachusetts remains the national leader in healthcare, in innovation, in climate action, and in the fight for rights and justice. It's hard work, but under the leadership of our great governor and under President Biden's leadership, we are doing. But I just want to say to my dear friend and my hero, Gina McCarthy, if there were a Hall of Fame for environmental champions, she would be the first inductee. She is the greatest of all time, the GOAT. She's from Massachusetts. You look up climate action, you see her picture, and we owe her thanks for everything she has done to save our planet, to protect our natural environment and wildlife, and hold polluters accountable. Thank you, Gina, for that warm introduction and for your decades of leadership and partnership. And as we all know, in Massachusetts, you're born a Democrat and a Red Sox fan, and then you're baptized 7 days later. So, and we know
that from North Adams to Fall River, from the North Shore to the South Coast, from the canals of the Merrimack River to the rivers of the Pioneer Valley, we know that here in Lowell and all across our great Commonwealth, that it's all about the grassroots. And we know that you have to go to Massachusetts to know how to do it right, to the delegates, to the organizers on the ground that really make the change. We are here today to reassert that the people drive the politics and the people drive the policies, and all of you at the grassroots are the people who set the example for the rest of our nation. And I'm so grateful for everything that you do. The door knocking, the sign holding, the phone banking, the texting, the person-to-person conversations. This country couldn't do democratic politics without Massachusetts, and we couldn't do Massachusetts politics without the brilliant Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren knows that these dreams are worth fighting for, and that is exactly what I have seen her do in the United States Senate. For the past decade, she has been fighting for what is right for the people of Massachusetts and all American families. From her insistent, consistent, persistent fight to hold greedy Wall Street and big bank CEOs accountable, to fighting to raise the living wage so that no one working 40 hours a week lives in poverty, to fighting for our veterans who fought for us and who deserve the jobs, the health care, and the opportunities to succeed. Elizabeth Warren knows that true leadership is not about the beliefs you tear down, but the dreams that you build up. And that is what she does every day. And that is why we believe in Elizabeth Warren and her dreams for our nation. So let's get Elizabeth Warren reelected to the United States Senate to show the world that the dreams of all of our people make this the greatest nation on our planet. And it's Massachusetts' gift to the United States and to the world. Since January 21st, 2017, Donald Trump has made it his mission to divide our great nation. And he is doing so to his evil benefit. Donald Trump doesn't want to make America great again. He wants to make America hate again. And as I walked in here today, so many of you asked me, are Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans in the House of Representatives, Matt Gaetz, going to shut down the government and hold us hostage? Well, there's one thing I can tell you about them, and I can tell you that they are scared of all of our progress, and they are angry. They are angry because Democrats are fighting to protect abortion rights and to make sure that everyone has access to the essential health care which they need. They're angry. They're angry because Democrats are fighting to lower prescription drug costs and to make health care accessible and affordable to everyone. They are angry that workers are rising up in unprecedented numbers all across our country, fighting for better pay, fighting for better protections, fighting for their rights, their families, and their piece of the American dream. They are angry, but we have only just begun. We are going to give them much more to be angry about. The critics continue to line up and to take their shots at the Green New Deal and the Civilian Climate Corps. Last week, Mitch McConnell called it a war on affordable energy and an absurd obsession. And this Green New Deal that they're constantly attacking, they call it socialism. But what do you call 100 years of tax breaks for the oil and the gas and the coal industry? We call that socialism. We want some of that socialism for wind and solar and all electric vehicles and plug-in batteries for our nation. They keep saying drill, baby, drill. We say plug in, baby, plug in. We're in a new era. And it's time for them to get out of the way. So, for all of these issues, auto assembly line. In every corner of our country, billionaires are getting richer while working people suffer. The 3 richest billionaires in our country control more wealth than the bottom 50% of our population combined, while a school teacher makes only $50,000 a year to teach kindergarten kids. Who made more contributions to our country last year, those 3 billionaires or the kindergarten teachers of our country? So while they are angry and in chaos, we have hope. Hope because just this year, EPA Administrator Michael Regan came to Massachusetts to announce the creation of the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, realizing my decades-long vision for a national climate bank that will ultimately bring upwards of $150 billion to the communities that need it the most. Hope because last week, President Biden announced the creation of an American Climate Corps. 20,000 young people will be going out to work on climate change. And that's the realization of a dream which Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and I introduced in legislation 4 years ago, a visionary pathway for good paying green jobs for young people in our country, bringing an essential part of the Green New Deal to life. Hope, because last year we passed the historic Inflation Reduction Act, which is going to unleash trillions of dollars of investment in green energy technologies in the United States of America. We won't be the laggard anymore. We're the leader. We're taking over, and we are not done. Hope, because President Biden created more than 11 million jobs, including the 2 largest years of job growth in American history. Hope, because we pardoned all federal offenses of marijuana possession, and then Governor Healy did the same thing at the state level. Hope, because we ended the ban on openly transgender people serving in the military. Hope, because we passed by legislation making Juneteenth a national holiday in the United States of America. Hope, because when we come together and we fight, we win. And we are going to keep fighting, protecting our planet, protecting our people, protecting our democracy from an attack by MAGA right-wing Republicans, fighting to expand the Supreme Court to get back the 2 Supreme Court seats that they have stolen from the American people, fighting to abolish the filibuster, which is nothing more than a relic of the Jim Crow era in our nation's history, fighting to protect voting rights and ensure access to the ballot box for all American citizens, fighting to decriminalize poverty in America. Being poor is not a crime, but polluting our lands and our planet should be a crime. Fighting to defend the right to abortion, contraception, gender-affirming care, and paid family leave. Reproductive freedom is for everybody in our country. Fighting to get guns off our streets and make NRA stand for not relevant anymore in American politics. And at the core of all these fights are you, the Massachusetts Democrats, leading the way, paving the way for our entire country. When they try to shut you up and shut you down, you come back louder, you come back stronger. You are the leaders for our country. And I want to finish by talking to you today about the one issue that I believe connects them all, the economic, health, security, and moral issue of our time, the climate crisis. The American people want change in our energy policy, change in our investments, change in our climate policy. In short, America is due for an oil change. And Americans know the only pipelines we should be building are out of prisons and into jobs and into schools and into brighter futures. And these brighter futures are what Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and I envisioned when we introduced the Green New Deal 4 years ago. And since then, it has galvanized a diverse, organized, committed army of activists, students, advocates, and communities who are demanding the most ambitious action possible. For you and for all of us, the Green New Deal is a promise of a livable future. The debate is no longer how much climate action is needed, it's how fast we need to act. And under the leadership of President Joe Biden, we are taking historic climate action right now. Republicans and their big oil backers may not believe climate change is an existential threat to humankind, but they know that the Green New Deal is an existential threat to their bottom line of limitless profits for the oil, gas, and coal industries. We are finally taking the steps to create the jobs, to render justice for Black and Brown and Indigenous, Native, and immigrant neighborhoods that have always suffered the worst consequences of environmental degradation, and we're going to lower the emissions that the Green New Deal calls for. We have the technology to do it. We have the economic imperative. We have the moral obligation. We just need more political will, and it's going to come out of the renewable political energy of Massachusetts Democrats. Thank you for everything that you do every single day. Thank you.
It is the honor of my life to fight on your behalf in Washington. And we are here today because we are in a fight for our democracy. And all of you represent democracy in action. One thing I love about Massachusetts, strong women leaders. I want to say a big thank you here. In the federal delegation, Nikki led the way, first for me, and then for Catherine, and then for Lori, and for Ayanna. I am forever grateful that being from Massachusetts means getting to fight alongside this knock-em-out, smart, courageous, persistent women. But I want to remind everyone, it hasn't always been this way. 12 years ago, in Massachusetts, long history up until then, there had never been a woman elected to the United States Senate, never a woman elected governor. In fact, 12 years ago, we had a very popular Republican senator representing us in Washington, and he was up for re-election. So I was just back home, having spent a year in Washington setting up the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau for Barack Obama. Can we go with So I'm back home. The Republican senator is up for re-election. There is this upcoming election, and people start calling me to say, you should run for Senate against that guy. You should get in this race. You won't win, but you should definitely run. Let me just say, Democrats, get a better sales pitch. But I understood why people said I wouldn't win. I was a teacher. Can we hear it for teachers? I was a teacher. I had no family wealth, no connections, just a deep commitment to fighting for working families. Now, the pundits wrote me off, the donors didn't think I fit the mold, and really smart people knew it could never happen. But you, the Democrats who nominated me and the people who knocked on doors and held signs and passed out bumper stickers, you proved them wrong. We fought, we won, and that's what democracy is all it's not just about winning elections, it's about what we do when we win. And for us, it's been about making change, real change, sometimes big structural change. So just for a minute, let's think about how much we've accomplished in the last few years. First off, Joe Biden beat Donald Trump in 2020. In a century and came out stronger. We invested in infrastructure and created more than 13 million new jobs. We doubled our investment in science. We delivered $35 insulin for seniors. Junk fees and bringing down the cost of prescription drugs. And note this, when we stand in solidarity with our unions, we fight alongside SAG-AFTRA, UAW, and unions everywhere. And here's a message for the corporate CEOs. Record profits deserve a record contract for workers. Now that's a good list. It's a good list. But it's not everything we need to do, not even close. But look at it this way. After years of heading in the wrong direction, we've shown progress, real progress. And it didn't happen by accident. It happened because these progressive policies are popular. It happened because Democrats fought for strong candidates and game-changing ideas. It happened because Americans voted for Democrats up and down the ballot, and in 2024, we're going to do it again. So just think for a minute about the Inflation Reduction Act, just one of the historic accomplishments that Democrats have delivered in the last couple of years. When I first ran for the Senate, people told me, never, never, never talk about raising taxes, not for anyone. People hate it, they said. But when I ran, I promised to fight to make the tax code fairer, and that meant raising taxes on billionaire corporations. In any given year, giant corporations like Amazon or T-Mobile report $1 billion or more in profits and then pay nothing or nearly nothing in taxes. And because the tax code has more holes than a truckload of Swiss cheese, it was all perfectly legal. My plan, change the law. So I put together a plan. Gotta be dorky here for a minute. A plan to put a 15% minimum tax on corporations reporting more than $1 billion in profits. It would be the first corporate tax increase in more than 30 years, and it passed, and it is now the law. And that new tax is on target to bring in hundreds of billions of dollars, and here comes the best part. Last summer, we committed to invest that new revenue from the tax in the biggest climate package in the history of the world. Now, none of it came easy, but we got it done because Democrats took on the fossil fuel industry. We got it done because Democrats took on billionaire corporations. We got it done because Democrats weren't afraid. And we're already starting to see and feel the benefits here in Massachusetts. Families are saving on energy bills by switching to solar and heat pumps. Towns are upgrading their buildings. A whole new industry has taken shape to build wind turbines so we can transition to clean power. And by investing in innovation, we're seeing new companies take root. Companies like Commonwealth Fusion in Devens and battery innovators like 6K in North Andover. You heard what my fantastic partner Ed Markey had to say. Is he the best? The best. But Ed gets up every day and reminds us that a clean energy revolution is taking off in America and Massachusetts is leading the way. So I want to mention one other issue that we're working on. The first bill I ever wrote when you sent me to the United States Senate was about making higher education more affordable. And when I first started talking about my plans to cancel student debt, most people said it is impossible, don't even try. But not Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. She has been a champion from the start and the best partner imaginable in the fight to cancel student debt. We worked together and the president announced cancellation for 43 million Americans. An extremist Supreme Court refused to follow the law. But here's the part I want you to hear. We don't give up. We don't give up. And right now, President Biden continues to cancel student debt. So far, his administration has canceled student loan debt for 34 million struggling Americans, including tens of thousands of people right here in Massachusetts, and we're not done yet. Now, back when she was Attorney General, Maura Healey was a great partner in taking on for-profit colleges and getting student loan debt canceled. And now, as governor, she's canceling student debt for healthcare workers and making community college free for people over 25. Governor Healey is a leader who fights from the heart and gets the good stuff done. These fights aren't easy, but we stay in them, and here's why. It's about who needs help. Think about who borrows money for school. It's not the children of millionaires and billionaires. It's kids from working class and middle class families. A lot of them took out loans to become a nurse's aide or to go to beauty school or to get a commercial truck driver's license. In fact, 40% of Americans with student loan debt do not have a college diploma. Student loan debt is disproportionately borne by Black students and Hispanic students. They borrow more money to go to school, borrow more money while they're in school, have a harder time paying it off when they get out. Now, Republicans in Congress gave over $2 trillion in tax breaks to giant corporations and millionaires and billionaires, but they don't want 1 penny of relief for hardworking people who are getting crushed by student loan debt. That is wrong. Student loan debt is an economic investment we can make. I will fight for investments to build more housing, housing of every kind, housing for first-time buyers, senior housing, accessible housing for people with disabilities, rental housing and urban housing, rural housing, all housing. We need more than 100,000 new homes in Massachusetts, and I am determined that the federal government will be a good partner to local towns and communities that need that housing. Child care housing, I will fight for better transit. Buses, bicycles, east-west rail, the T commuter rail. We need upgrades, extensions, new plans for 21st century transportation all across Massachusetts. And I will fight for freedom, including reproductive freedom. You help us get a majority in Congress, and Roe versus Wade will be the law everywhere in America. And I just want to say a special shout out here to our Attorney General, Andrea Campbell, right here in Massachusetts, who is fighting to keep choice a reality for women across the Commonwealth and women who need to come here for help. Thank you, Andrea. I want to just do one more. I know I could do this all day, but I got to do just one more. I will fight for gun safety. Every 13 and a half minutes in America, a person dies from gun violence. It is our moral responsibility to do more to protect the people we love. Childcare, housing, transportation, abortion care, gun safety, these are fights worth having. These are righteous fights. Now, under normal circumstances, I'd wrap up my remarks there, play a little music, dance a little, and that would be it. But these are not ordinary times. Our democracy is under extraordinary threat. On January 6th, our nation suffered an armed insurrection. Extremists and thugs stormed our Capitol, breaking windows and drawing blood. People died defending our Capitol against attackers who wouldn't accept the outcome of the 2020 election. And yet, even today, the Republicans refuse to denounce the violence or the violent offenders. Instead, they embrace white nationalism and Donald Trump, and that is wrong. Today, one of America's two major political parties, the Republicans, has decided that they cannot win elections if a majority of Americans vote. So they openly embrace efforts to keep American citizens from voting, or they use gerrymandering 2024, our economic progress will be on the ballot, abortion will be on the ballot, and more than anything else, democracy will be on the ballot, and Democrats will be there to defend it. I believe that our democracy is worth fighting for. So I put it to you, Massachusetts Democrats, are you ready to fight for our democracy? I didn't quite hear that. Massachusetts, are you ready to fight for our democracy? Democracy is not just an idea. Democracy is action. Democracy is door knocking. Democracy is block walking. Democracy is phone banking. Democracy is advocating and agitating and motivating and organizing and mobilizing and galvanizing and energizing. Democracy is what we do together. It is an honor to fight alongside you. Let's get this done.
Governor Kim Driscoll. Well, good afternoon. It is afternoon, right? Yeah, we're appropriately behind schedule in this great hall because we got a lot of great things to talk about. Thank you, Democrats. Thank you, Democrats. Thank you, Lowell. It's great to be back in the Tsonga Center. You know, I came as we were saying the Pledge of Allegiance and singing the national anthem. It was beautiful. Everyone who's performed and been part of this program has done such a wonderful job. But I was reminded of the poignancy of this moment. And when the LG talks about Massachusetts values, we think about Massachusetts freedoms. And I just want to begin by acknowledging the veterans, the service members, the military families who through generations, decades, centuries in Massachusetts have made our freedoms possible. We thank you, we honor you for your service to Massachusetts and to this country. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of you, for everything that you have done to get us here. Thank you for the calls that you made. Thank you for the doors that you knocked. Thank you for joining us probably on a basketball court or two along the way. Together with all of you, we made history here in Massachusetts this last election. I stand before you proudly as the first woman ever elected, the first gay person ever elected, governor of Massachusetts. You did that. And Kim and I are so proud to be the first all-female team in the country elected. Thank you. Joined by our historic statewide delegation, including our first Black woman ever elected Attorney General of Massachusetts. You can imagine that means something to me. Great to hear from AG Andrea Campbell. So you made a lot of history, and you make history every single day. With last year's elections, you sent a message that was loud and clear that we are in Massachusetts a place of equality and opportunity for everyone. And with your help, together with your help, we are going to keep it that way and advance those principles. I believe in Massachusetts. I believe in Massachusetts. I believe in our people. In every critical moment of our history, going back to our founding, Massachusetts has led. We have led with the very best of us. It's why we were the first state to declare in our Constitution certain fundamental freedoms. We created the first public school, public library, public park. We're the first to provide health care and to declare that love really means love. And Democrats, these are all things that this party helped to make happen. Massachusetts leadership more than ever. Because across the country, these values, these principles, these fundamental freedoms that so many fought so hard for are under attack. In the most pernicious of ways, some days. Republican governors, Republican-led legislatures around the country seem to be in a race to see which rights they can take away faster. Civil rights, abortion rights, gay rights, climate, civil rights. Did I say civil rights? Day after day after day, I can't say it enough. I saw clips of that first Republican presidential. You probably held your nose and at least watched some of the reruns of portions. So much anger, so much division, so much hatred, and Donald Trump wasn't even in the room. But all I could think of was I love Massachusetts, and Massachusetts, this is our time. Because in Massachusetts, we lift people up. We put progress over partisanship. We actually protect and advance civil rights and the climate, and by the way, democracy. And we will never, ever cede or relinquish the right to reproductive freedom. That's who we are. And here's a little secret. These values aren't just the right values. There are competitive advantage Democrats. They set us apart. Massachusetts, we're a beacon of hope and opportunity in this country. And it's up to all of us working together to make sure we stay that way. Now, to fulfill our promise, we know we still have work to do. That's why we are getting after it every single day, and you are helping us, you are pushing us, you are advocating for us and with us, because we have work to do. There are still too many barriers holding people back here in Massachusetts, in our cities and towns, across this country. But it's why, as we hold these positions, we try to execute with urgency, with intensity, with intentionality, and in partnership. Partnership with all of you, working to make Massachusetts a more equitable, more affordable, more competitive place. And yes, as my friend Kim just said, we are about getting stuff done. We know that starts with housing. There's no greater economic barrier facing our people and our businesses than the high cost of housing. It is why, as she said, creating the Housing Secretariat, devoting hundreds of millions of dollars to build affordable homes, put money into public housing, expand rental vouchers, and so much more. Investing in a workforce, too, our people. I'm proud to talk about our Mass Reconnect program. We told you we wanted to do it. We went out and we got it done together with your help. And now anybody 25 years or older is going to be able to go to community college for free. This is about making investments in our most important resource, which is our people. And speaking of people, how about our young people? How about our young people? It's why we fully funded the Student Opportunity Act to make sure that in our first budget, every school was going to get the resources that they need. Because our children don't just deserve an education, they deserve the best education. We invested $500 million in our child care system because we know that education starts with early education. And now, Massachusetts, thanks to you, Democrats, is a place where every student, and I mean every student, has access to free school meals. You don't have to worry about breakfast or lunch, and struggling families don't have to worry about that. That means something, and we love you for that. Universal school meals, now a reality in Massachusetts. And you know what else is too? In-state tuition for everyone, including all our dreamers out there. That happened this year. You heard from Gina McCarthy earlier. Isn't she amazing? Yes! Talk about packing a punch, right? You know, our climate crisis, and it is a crisis. We've talked about this. It's our greatest threat. But I have said for a while, it is our greatest opportunity. And it's why on my first day, we created the country's first ever climate chief to bring a new focus and an urgency that this crisis demands. We passed a budget. I promised you 1% of it was going to go towards climate, and that happened. We set up a green bank, first of its kind in the country, with that money and those investments dedicated to building affordable, sustainable, resilient housing. This is big stuff. It's important stuff. Now, I know we can't have a strong economy without a strong transportation system, and we've made a lot of investments there, including just the other day when I got to visit Springfield. Where's Springfield? Springfield. We're out in Springfield the other day celebrating $100 million that we went out and got for West East Rail and important infrastructure improvements that are going to happen. They are going to happen. We've been standing up for workers and leading by example. In the last few months, our administration signed historic agreements with the Carmen's Union, NAGE, AFSCME, SEIU, 1199, and so many more, so that hard-working women and men who are giving up their time in furtherance of the good of this Commonwealth get paid what they are due. And it's a sign of how much I believe in the people of the state, including those in public service. And we hope others follow that lead. We're making our justice system fairer for everyone. I'm told that other governors waited years before issuing clemency, powers, and pardons to deserving people. I did it in the first 5 months because justice cannot wait. And we're going to lead the way and continue to lead the way in providing access to abortion care. Don't get me started. When the Supreme Court sought to take away access to medical abortions, we were prepared. We stockpiled. We bought enough mifepristone for years to come. And we are going to continue to find ways each and every day to make sure that patients and providers here and around this country have access to the health care that they need. Because in Massachusetts, we will always guarantee reproductive health care. I'm getting to the end, but there's something I want to say before I step out. And that is this. I want to come back to who we are as a state. I want to come back to who we are as a Democratic Party. In these times, when we see forces and individuals trying to take us backwards, undermine important constitutional rights and freedoms, dehumanize, stigmatize, marginalize, weaponize in the furtherance of some perceived political gain, we are going to stand together and just double down in going forward. Right? That's what we're going to do. It is aggravating. It is frustrating. And those are nice, polite words for it, because there's probably media in the room. When we see these things happening, right? When we see these things happening, it is absolutely galling, and it is hurtful. It is cruel. But I want all of us to take that in and find the way to channel that into further good. That's why I believe so much in this party. That's why I am so proud to be a Massachusetts Democrat. We're not perfect. We have work to do. We're going to do that work. But there's one thing I know to my core. When the time comes, my money's on this party. My money is on Massachusetts Democrats to do what is right, to protect our freedoms, to make the world a better, healthier, safer, more inclusive place where we all can thrive. I believe that, and I know you believe that, or you wouldn't be sitting on a Saturday afternoon in Tsonga Center in Lowell, Massachusetts. God bless you, right? That's why we do this work. Okay, so Democrats have got to win in 2024. Up and down the ballot, every ballot, all across this country, right? Democrats have got to win. I know you believe in teams. We believe in teams. We have the best teammates with us. This work starts with re-electing our fabulous Senator Elizabeth Warren. It means supporting our mayors and state senators and representatives and local officials who are on the front lines of issues every single day. And it means doing everything we can to support and re-elect President Biden. You know, President Biden has worked so hard to move us forward from some of our darkest days, out of a pandemic, out of an insurrection, out of Trump. Under his leadership, we're making progress in creating jobs, and growing this economy, and addressing our climate crisis, and protecting so many basic freedoms. He's continued to lead with dignity and with respect, and with a vision of bringing our country together. We can't go back, and we won't go back. And we need President Biden to lead us forward. The future of this country and our democracy and world depend on it. And that's why we need Massachusetts Democrats getting after it, doing everything we need to do over the next year, fighting for our values, and realizing those values, making it happen every single day. I know, you're ready to fight for Senator Warren, aren't you? You're ready to fight for our congressional delegation, our state senators and representatives and local officials, aren't you? And you're ready to fight for Joe Biden, aren't you? And more than that, we are all ready to win, right? That's what we're about here in this party, winning and making good things happen. Thank you all Democrats for what you do. We are with you and we are fired up. Let's go, let's get after it, and let's show how Massachusetts once again will lead the way. Thank you very much.
Should we see what she does? Go ahead. Yeah. They're together. Wonderful. Fabulous.